Hello and welcome to week 38 content episode. I am joined by two content experts, starting with Josh Excels. Hello.
Yeah, good to be here. Interesting week this week, Ben. It's like first TOTS week ever without having a major team, like other than when we've had most consistent or the kind of warm-up promos in the past. But kind of feel like they might have made some good content this week, he says tentatively.
Okay. Well, interesting. We'll get into that. Yeah, that is definitely a topic of conversation. And before we do that, we'll introduce our next guest, who is Nate the Foot Accountant. Hello.
Howdy, Ben. It's great to be back on the pod. And yeah, like Josh said, there's a couple of small things that kind of just were nice. And I still feel like a lot of the anticipation is on this next season pass and what's coming after TOTS. I don't know. Maybe it's just felt longer this year.
It is a long period always, to be fair. But actually, let me start with this question. We got an early question for you, Nate. Cherry says, question for Nate Dog Mac. Nice throwback.
Oh.
Was he more excited for Spurs winning the Europa League or his team winning the Christmas quiz?
Can't lie, definitely the Europa League, because the Christmas quiz, that was my first time, but I didn't have to wait 16 years for that one. So
yeah, a fair answer, even if I'm slightly hurt. We'll move straight into doing pound for pound, and Nate, you're going to pick the winner for last week. So the nominees were Team of the Season Trincão, Team of the Season Caicedo, that's the Liga F Caicedo, the Spurs winners Sarr, and we also had the Team of the Season 𝗵𝗽 or Battle.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bias here, but it's the card that I've used, and he was very good. Like, I'm used to Team of the Year Rodri as my DM, and I put Sarr in there, and I was pleasantly surprised for what is he, like 200,000 coins? Like, he rocked it, so I'm going to vote for him.
Nice. Yeah, totally fair. No, that is a good one, even if he is, kind of a pricey-ish option, I guess, compared to the price of a lot of players out there, which we can get into in a bit. Right, let us move on to pound for pound nominations. We have got a listener nomination here, which I guess he came out a little bit ago, but I'll allow it. He goes for Julian Alvarez. He says his GG rating does him dirty, packed him in my champs rewards and slotted him right into my team due to his ability to take a first touch and turn under pressure. He just pops up in the gaps in the defense so consistently and scores every time he gets an open shot. His body type and animations are always so elite, so I'm surprised he is under 50k. So yeah, a good starting point. Let's move on to you, Nate, for the first guest nomination this week.
I'm going to nominate the 𝗵𝗽 that just came out, at least at the time of the recording, because I mean, for 30,000 coins, like Ivan Toney is just like, that's a great striker card. Like, a lot of people are always asking, what's the best striker for 50k for like a brand new RTG that they're starting for the summer, or, just want to get a cheap striker in the club on a low budget. Like, that's the guy. I mean, the finesse, low driven, and the rapid. He's got great other shooting play styles, even has still the first touch and the trickster base. I mean, I think that's a great card. The only thing he maybe is missing is 5-star skills, but you can get away without it for that card. I think 5-star weak foot, he's just going to score a lot of goals. And for that price, that's unbeatable.
Yeah, I think that's a really good shout. You're someone that I was considering for sure. Josh, let's move on to you. Who are you going to be nominating?
So I've had to go against my better judgment and not nominate �ル𝘁 because, I mean, let's just say a Korean Team of the Season with 4 playstyle pluses tickles my fancy like nothing on earth. But I'm going to go with someone a little bit cheaper. Same position, though, and it's like an all-time FIFA favourite for me. It's Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Every time this guy gets a special card, I enjoy it. He just has something. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the fact that his name's that long. He plays well above anything you ever expect a player of his kind of size, ability should ever do. But I mean, look at that card. It's 50k. It's club 90. It's obviously going to be lengthy, for some version of lengthy, because he's 6'4". He's got the 5-star weak foot. I mean, bruiser on a player of that size is an absolute joke. Like, he wins the ball from positions he should just never win it. He gets away with things that are the most blatant fouls. Like, oh, it's ridiculous. He's just a ridiculous guy. I'm enjoying the hell out of him. He's so good. Brilliant going forward. Brilliant defensively. He just has that frame that makes him different. Like, when we got his brother as a shapeshifter a few years back and he just broke the game for the rest of the cycle, it was mainly his size that people pointed to. And it's Milinkovic-Savic. He's just always had that, like, I absolutely love it. I think for 50k, you really can't go wrong. And I am very much looking forward to seeing what PlayStyle Plus evolutions come in the new season pass. Because think about what you could add to him. Like, you can make him even better. It's just bananas.
Yeah, we've got some information on that, so we'll get onto that in a bit, actually. He was going to be in my nomination, and I used him throughout Champs. He was really, really good. Actually, used a combination of him and McTominay, which was a very, very beefy midfield. In fact, the pivot midfielder, if you listen to last week's episodes, you'll probably remember, is that 𝘭𝘪𝘬𝘦, who's like 6'8". So the combination of the three kind of massive midfielders was quite interesting. I have to say, I probably wouldn't run that again. I think having kind of a nippier, more mobile midfielder as well is probably better. But yeah, SMS was probably actually, equal, to be honest, to McTominay, who is quite a bit more expensive, which, does suggest that he is very good value. The player I will nominate, though, is that Lorenzo Insigne, who is an SBC. 100k feels like a lot, but it's just fodder at this point, so who cares? It might as well be free. He's got Finesse Plus, he's got Rapid Plus, he's got Press Proven Plus, and he crucially has Incisive, Tiki Taka, Trickster, which I really like, Quick Step, Trivella, and the regular low driven. If you use Precision, the regular low driven is really, really good. So I think I'd probably go for a combination of Finesse Plus with the regular low driven. I tried him out as a shadow striker, where he was, just kind of, he's just so hard to tackle because he's got the Press Proven Plus, he's got the Rapid Plus Quick Step combination. He can kind of do everything in terms of shooting and passing. He's got 95 composure, 97 agility, 97 balance. So he's just, an exceptionally well-rounded player. Actually the number 2 ranked for GG rating for Shadow Striker, and the number 4 ranked for inside forward left mid as well. So he's, just definitely up there in terms of stats, and his ability in game reflected that. He was really, really fun, and also a player that I think just people don't like playing against. They're like, tracking him, and defending him is just really hard.
He's a little bit of a FIFA legend too, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've used him as well, and he is bad fast. He's so fun. Yeah,
and actually, many people using that Buffon, I'm sure, means that he'll just get full chem if you put him in your team. So, really, really good player. And on that, we will move on maybe to talking about EA's kind of approach to this week. It was quite, it wasn't unexpected because we knew it was coming, but it isn't something they've done before, Josh, this approach where they haven't actually done a major team of the season. Whether this would have even been vaguely considered had Messi and Ronaldo not been involved, I think is definitely, it's not even up for debate. It just wouldn't have happened, would it? And it's also interesting because we don't know where Ronaldo's going to be next season. That's possible that this is one of his final high-rated versions.
It's an interesting decision to try and get people interested in a week pre-Ultimate TOTS that doesn't have a major league in it. But if any 2 players have the name and brand recognition to do it, it's Messi and Ronaldo. And, I think the way that they've managed this week, some of the things they've added into the game, sometimes not at 6 p.m. either. That one of 15 campaign encore player pick weirdly got put in at, like 9 o'clock or whatever it was. So, I don't know. I like it. I think it's interesting. I think it's worth shining maybe more of a light on other leagues. And with the way that they've done chemistry for all TOTS items, kind of makes sense to do it this way as well.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I just think it's been some of these little things that they haven't done during Team of the Season that they've kind of pulled out of the hat here that has made it just stick out a little bit, like especially the 1 of 15 encore pick, but having 2 of the cups where you get a lone Messi and a lone Ronaldo, like that's 13 million worth, at least right now, of 2 TOTS cards that you get to try. Sure, they're on loan, but like that's the card that everybody wants to use. At least you get it on loan. So I think that's cool. It's golden goal in the mode. That's cool. And all the player SBCs, I remember talking about this before this week of TOTS came out. I was like, even seeing some of the leaks, like, man, these have just got to be cheap. And they have been dirt cheap, like ridiculously cheap. And so I think that's just been nice. Just some of the little things that have maybe surprised us a little, especially after the Friday content drop. It was like, oh, okay, Insigne, Mahrez, those are good, those are decent. But it was like, man, this might be a pretty slow week. And then the encore pick comes out. We're like, wow, it's actually pretty fun and actually motivating to try to do your upgrade packs for. And like I'm going to hit those all week and maybe even next week too, just to maybe get lucky and hit a Neymar or like an extinct Spurs player for an Evo that I haven't been able to do, or a USA player like that. That's just, it's not a crazy piece of content, but it's just something different and fun that we hadn't seen before. So
yeah, it's nice as well that, you know, it's actually not min rated, I guess, because you might pick up a player who's actually got a phenomenal Evo, right? And it means there's some sort of like, I don't know, compensation mechanic there if you don't hit one of the big names.
And some of them are so low rated that you're kind of going back now and you're looking up Evo chains like, oh, how can this 𝗵𝗽𝗫𝗀𝗀, if you're a Liverpool fan, like actually get into Evos? Because maybe you've forgotten about that card, because it wouldn't just be one Evo at this stage of the game to get them up to a 94. You're like, oh, he could go into 1, 2, 3 in a row and I've got a sick card, that sort of thing. And it's fun for me to look at the prices. Like some of those ultimate succession cards, I think EA forgot to change their price ranges, because like 𝘅𝑒𝘃𝗁𝘁 and 𝘵𝗊𝘃 and Toney are all like 130,000 coins and basically extinct on the market, but just fun.
Yeah, that's a good point about that. And actually, talking about player prices, 𝘨𝑒𝑟𝑎𝑙s.com said, I'm curious to hear Nate's take on how the paid season pass has affected the market. In theory, removing a huge amount of currency from a market creates significant deflation. The market always plunged during team of the season, but could the introduction of the paid pass be partly to blame for the huge drop in prices across the board? Could the impact be big enough that it would make sense to stay liquid around the time of each new season pass drop? Which is an interesting question. I mean, just to highlight this point, that team of the season Bellingham, I noticed, is like 800k now. And he's really good. So, I mean, yeah, the prices are really quite low, apart from, I guess, the very, very top tier of players.
Yeah, I think there's kind of like 3 factors to add that one in that are making prices drop at the moment. I think the biggest factor is the fact that Ultimate TOTS is going to mean some of those cards get re-released, potentially Jude Bellingham and Lamine Yamal and Rafinha, specifically the very hyped La Liga TOTS that went out of packs, you know, with those pretty expensive. Like Rafinha was 2.8 mil, now he's 2 mil flat. Jude Bellingham was 1.1 on Friday night, now he's 8.14. So 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 dropped a lot. And if you look around some of the older team of the seasons that are the 95, 96, especially the 4 PlayStyle Plus cards that people are going to expect to see released in Ultimate TOTS, I think that's one of the main reasons you're seeing the prices drop, is just the anticipation of that. But then the PSG team is expensive, so people are maybe selling a few of those cards to try out the 96 rated 5.5 PSG cards, and maybe getting some coins ready and freed up too for the new paid season. Like, I think last time we had the paid season, the first one, right, it impacted the market a little bit, but it wasn't super crazy. And I was really interested to see how that panned out, because we also, over the course of this last season, had a lot of those big tradable packs. So I wondered if that was going to, you know, supply some cards, but also put a bit more coins on the market. But it didn't seem to have any super crazy impact, in my opinion. I think we saw a bigger impact from La Liga team of the season. A lot of people opening up their safe packs finally. And then you had Serie A TOTS cards like 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 go from 1.4 mil to 2, because there was a lot of save packs and coins that were generated from those packs to make the market go up. But now we're kind of, you know, getting into Ultimate TOTS, a new season. The PSG cards is bringing all those prices back down. I don't imagine that a ton of them rebound, to be honest, either. unless it's like a short-term thing, just because I feel like we're on the cusp of 4 playstyle pluses becoming a lot more normal. And I think that's going to hurt some of the other cards that are still expensive that only have 3. Even like a 𝗵𝘀 Jr. It's going to be the best 𝗵𝘀 probably for a bit. But yeah, you might be able to Evo him though. That's the thing.
I mean, it's very true. And actually, just quickly, the prices of the cup-winning squads have actually been relatively high, I would say. I mean, obviously, a lot of them are really good. But, I mean, relative to similar quality team of the season players, they are higher. Is that just basically a supply thing, right? Because they're not out for that long.
Yeah, definitely. They're not out for that long. And when you go and look at like the odds in the store on some of the packs, that's how I've been kind of gauging the weight between the teams. They've all been pretty similar, like pretty low. But I don't necessarily hate that. I did a little bit when the Spurs were out because I was like, I want to pack them all. And then after opening, you know, I spent like $3.5 million on 88 times 11s because, you know, when do I have a chance to pack players like this? And I got 5 or 6 of them, which was great, but realized these are not really packable players. So it kind of makes it a little bit fun because there's like an extra bit of chase to it, but then also you're like, oh, I would really love to use them. I think if they were just out in packs longer, it would be a little bit better. Like if it was 5 days instead of 2, or maybe they're going to come back somehow. I don't know. But yeah, the short releases for sure have made them supplied a lot less.
Yeah. And also justice for Arsenal women. Like, why
yeah.
They not had a team? Anyway, all interesting chat, and we're going to talk a bit about what is to come actually, because we've had some information, and we'll do that just after this break. Hello. So, in the recently released pitch notes EA have put out about title update 15, EA have actually spelled out the rewards that are going to be in the premium pass, and that comes on Thursday, so it makes sense for us to talk about them a bit. So, I guess the first notable thing, Josh, is that we are going to see a 5 Playstyle Plus player, something that they said that they were opening up the game to in the pitch note. So that is going to be Shapeshifters 𝗂𝘃. He has Low Driven Plus, First Touch Plus, Rapid Plus, Incisive Plus, and Finesse Plus. It does look quite a bit better actually than 𝗵𝘀, to be honest.
I mean that. And maybe by the time we get to level 35 it won't, but that looks absolutely bananas. Like you can kind of, depending on where his positions are, you can do whatever you want with that card. Like I'm thinking like with an engine that's max pace, max passing, max dribbling with 96 shooting, 92 physical. You could go Hawk and max ice pace shooting and physical. It's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And what a collection of playstyle pluses. Obviously we don't know the base playstyles just yet, but Low Driven, Finesse Shot Plus, the 2 best shooting playstyles. I really like First Touch as a playstyle plus. Rapid's incredible, and then Incisive as well for laying those through balls in and around the box. I mean, I didn't take 𝗵𝘀 from the most recent season pass. I can't imagine there's a scenario in which I'm not taking this 𝗂𝘃 at level 35. And I still have my 10k SP ready to claim. So if that auto claims into the new season pass and I'm already at level 10, could be at level 20 fairly quickly, and then at level 28, I've only got 7 levels to go at that point. So I'll have it in about a week and a half.
I mean, that's worth a quick mention actually. The way they're spreading the bonus XP or SP in this pass. So what you got 4,000 at level 6 and then 4,000 at level 20, so a little bit different, and only 35 levels to this one.
Yep.
I mean, I guess from the players we can see there is definitely the Shapeshifters theme going on. Actually, 𝗂𝘃 is a Shapeshifters icon. We've got players moving around across the pitch. Some of them are a little bit more reasonable than others. We do have a pick between 3 goalkeepers moved to various different positions, and they all have, actually they don't all have, but 2 of them have 4 playstyle pluses. Maignan and Kobel do, and then 𝗏𝗏 has just the 3. We're going to talk more about Shapeshifters a bit later in the podcast. But I guess it's kind of, there's a lot of player picks here, Nate, so that's kind of nice for people to make choices and actually picks between packs, which we didn't particularly see previously.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. That when you look at like level 26, 7, and 8, it looks like you have the choice of some tradable packs versus untradables. So whether you want to take more players, a little bit lower rating on those packs, or maybe they are all tradable, who knows? But you can go for the higher rating guarantee with less players or a lower rating with more. Just have to see how those pan out, but probably taking the higher rated packs there would be the move. Couple interesting Evos too in the whole process of the season. Level 13, position change any player to left wing. Level 24, position change any player to a striker. That sounds like future evolution combination awesomeness. Moving a player who's maybe, I think those would be maybe capped at max 3 positions to start. But like, let's say you have somebody who can't play striker, but you want to play them at striker and then further then evolve them at striker. That's going to give you a lot of flexibility to do something like that. So I think those are cool as a part of the season pass too.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, you know what I'm looking at, Josh? Quick Step Plus at level 29. And you've also got Intercept Plus at level 32, for me, 2 of the best defensive area playstyles, or certainly, you know, across the defensive line and in defensive midfield. Finesse Plus make your return at level 33. You've got Block Plus. But yeah, I do think those position change Evos will really, change things. Interesting to see if they come with roles as well. But yeah, there aren't actually any role evolutions here, which is interesting, but they could be in the free one, I suppose. So it'd be interesting to see what the free one has in it, like last season. As far as we can tell, they haven't shared the free season pass. But yeah, all in all, I mean, yeah, I guess it's not a huge departure from what we would have expected, kind of a step up. Some people are probably not happy about these players shifting shape quite as much as they are, but it does look, like a decent offering. It'd be interesting to see how they price it.
Yeah, definitely. I think one last point I'd like to make is looking through this is going to drop on Thursday with the new season. So it's a whole Shapeshifters themed season that we're going to be starting to progress through, even though we're in Ultimate TOTS in the last week of TOTS. So it's going to be like we have conflicting promo things going on, one thing in the season and one thing in the menus and in packs. So that'll be quite intriguing to see how that feels.
I'd also, before I sign off, would like to shout out 𝘭𝘪𝘬𝘦 as a fairly big boy. His move to striker with 99 shooting and 95 physical. You put an engine on that card with low driven, finesse, pinged and first touch. That is a scary looking card, a really scary looking card. If he is like, if he plays those stats in game, if like the underlying stuff is there, oof, that is scary. Just on the roles when you're changing players to a striker or a left wing, I wonder if the roles will be part of those evolutions and it's just not detailed here.
Quite possible.
But yeah, definitely an interesting. I can't see this being any less than 500k again. When you look at the kind of level of cards it's giving out, it's got to be 500k again.
Yeah, I mean, also those Evos are up to a max of 96 overall now, and up to 9 base playstyles. Still not the 10, which is a bit frustrating, but that's obviously pretty strong. And they've also said for the free season pass, the Evos will be up to a 95 overall. Again, the max 9 regular playstyles. That will be their 4th playstyle plus. The limit is 3 going into these in terms of playstyle pluses. So yeah, I mean, these are really strong. The pass again looks really strong. And we'll have to see what the price is. This is all very Shapeshifters themed, as people might have realized. I know people already will be getting a bit, what's the word? Exasperated perhaps by the presence of that goalkeeper player pick between 3 goalkeepers in varying positions, because I know for a fact that many of the listeners do not like Shapeshifters content, and I would put myself in exactly the same camp. I don't really enjoy that kind of lack of authentic connection with football, even though I know a lot of Ultimate Team is a bit ridiculous. That is, I feel, a bit too much of a stretch. That being said, obviously that's not the case for everyone. Josh, what are your thoughts as we head into Shapeshifters? Actually, we've already had the Evo, haven't we? So yeah, it's definitely coming.
I like Shapeshifters. I don't mind a promo where where we go, okay, the game's in a silly state now anyway. We just go for it. And I know for some people that's the moment they switch off, but maybe that's right. Maybe that is the right time for you to take a break from the game, because it does just get silly after that. I don't think it's necessary. I think there's more than enough that you can do in the game without having to go, well, what if we make a goalkeeper a central midfielder? I'm cautiously looking forward to it. I much prefer the Shapeshifters where it's kind of smaller changes, strikers to wingers and centre mids. But since we've got positions on cards where we moved away from the position changes, because you have to go more extreme. It has to go centre back playing striker and all that kind of silliness in order for Shapeshifters as a promo to work. I hope that it's not 5 weeks worth of the promo, I think, as it has been in the past, because then the best cards in the game are all Shapeshifters, and then it just does become silly. I hope it's a fun 2-week promo, and then we get Summer of Fun or whatever it needs to be, Club World Cup promo maybe for when that's on. Just whatever it needs to be for that doesn't require them to have players playing out of position. And then I think I'll be on board with it a bit more. So yeah, I wouldn't be apprehensive around Shapeshifters massively changing the game. I imagine they'll all be 4 playstyle pluses, but so will every card that's in Ultimate TOTS, I would imagine. And also by the time that it comes, we'll have had 2 season passes where you can give 4th playstyle pluses to essentially any card under 96 rated as long as they're a team of the season. Everyone's going to be running around with 4 playstyle pluses, I think, by the time it arrives. So yeah, I don't know. I'm as with every promo, it really depends on the content. I wouldn't have been that excited for this week, but I do think the SBCs that they've given us and the grinds that they've given us and the content in terms of the cups and stuff has probably been the best it's been for a few weeks in Team of the Season. So the squad itself is kind of secondary to everything that goes around it.
I mean, interestingly, the Evo that we had, the first Shapeshifter, actually a lot of the players coming out of it were best in their position that they were originally suited to already anyway, if that makes sense. So looking at some of the best options, it was 𝗵𝗃 as a centre mid, Hernandez as a left back, João Neves as a centre mid, Dumfries, 𝘵𝘅𝑒𝑙𝑜𝑟ENZO as right backs. It actually feels like maybe because of evolutions and things like that, you've already got players who are specialised in a position to some extent that you're evolving. Actually, there probably is going to be an opportunity to kind of not treat this like Shapeshifters if you don't want to, at least through evolutions. So I guess, there is maybe a twist this cycle. Any thoughts on Shapeshifters, Nate?
I think that's a great point that you just brought up, because that's the way that I viewed the Dream Crusher Evo from a few weeks back with evolving End of an Era Varane. For me, I just wanted to give him a pace boost and then give him playstyle pluses through a different Evo. So he was already set in that regard. His defense and his physical is only 90 and 91, but I'm giving him the 4th playstyle plus from a season pass with what he already has. I don't care that he has 97 shooting. I'm using him as a center back still. And the 97 shooting is just bonus. So I think that's a good point that you bring up there. I also think that there's no better time than now to release the Shapeshifters because of the time of the year that it is. We're all getting ready for silly season anyway, when they start, re-releasing cards back in packs, and we think about the repeatable 𝘵𝗵𝗽𝗁 and that fun of the summer and the super high rated cards, and now going to eventually 5 playstyle pluses. It just feels like this is going to cause them the least chaos if they release it now, instead of imagine Shapeshifters right after Team of the Year. That would be whoa. So I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's all very true. And I think we will stop talking about the future, and we'll talk about the future when it comes instead. And we'll chat a bit more about what's around at the moment right after this break. Hello, and in this break, a quick reminder that the pod is made possible by supporters. The pod didn't used to be weekly. Yes, Foot Weekly wasn't actually weekly for a time. And then someone suggested setting up the Patreon. And since then, the pod has been weekly. And in fact, it's been twice weekly because there is that supporter episode every single week. So if you'd like to catch that episode and keep the podcast going, it's just £3 a month to do so. And you get loads in return. And there are perks higher than that, including access to the Discord too. So if you're interested and would like to support the podcast, then head over and search Support for Weekly. Go to Patreon and it's very easy to sign up. If you are a supporter keeping the podcast going, then a huge thank you for doing so. And if you do consider supporting, a huge thank you too. Right, let's jump back into the pod. Hello, welcome back after the break. Right, let's talk about the Evos, things we talked about one already. We've had this build your team of the season evolution, which, I mean, yeah, to start it, it's 1,000 FC points or 250k. You do the first one and then that upgrades the player, but then you can add various playstyle pluses. I mean, they're fairly meta centre-back playstyle pluses, which is nice. And then after you've applied however many you need to reach 3, you can put them through the final Evo, which is also a reward unlock from the objective that gives you 99 physical. I guess the 99 physical thing is unique enough, and being able to pick playstyles is good. But actually, if you look at the players coming out of this, Josh, when you look at the value that's around, it is kind of hard to justify unless you've got a specific player that you really want to put through that. But it's quite a commitment. I mean, it's like half a season pass. Well, a whole season pass in FC point terms, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
It's crap. It's crap. I'm sorry. It's so bad. It's so bad. And I get that this makes like decent cards for some people, and if it fits your centre back that you've been building, I'm like really happy for you. If you never evoed your team of the season centre back, team of the year centre back, they all fit into this. So I think we've just had the last few weeks, those team of the year centre backs that people have had just started fitting into some centre back evos. If you haven't committed to one of those, they also fit into this, and it can make them look decent. It's not good for one reason, right? The price is so-so. I think we have to get away from this comparing Evos to a price on the market. Evos are clearly now being aimed at people who want to build their own cards for their own teams. It's not about creating ultra meta. There will be some Evos that create ultra meta or take a meta player and improve them, like we saw with 𝗵𝗡 and like we saw with 𝘭𝑪𝘂. And for those ones, that's where the majority of people will engage with evolutions. But outside of that, it's for people wanting to build their own team, to make players that they like playing with better. And EA are charging you a premium for that. That's the way that Evos are going. That's how I'm seeing it right now. And so it is expensive from a coin point of view. It's expensive from an FC point of view. Yeah, that's easy to say. But I don't mind it if the upgrade is okay. And the problem is the dribbling upgrade for me. The pace, defending, physical upgrades, brilliant. 99 physical means you can whack a shadow on there. They're essentially going to be max pace, max defending, max physical. And that's fantastic. And for the majority of people playing the game from Division 4 downwards, fine. But if you put in a fresh player, someone who's not had a dribbling upgrade or whose base card doesn't have decent dribbling, the cards coming out of this have super low agility and balance. Super low agility and balance, because balance is maxed out at 78 in the upgrade. And for me, it's maxing them out to a point where it makes them lengthy. That's a very good thing, right? Because we all like lengthiness. It makes players quickly. So it makes players run quickly. So you're going to have people who are controlled lengthy, mostly lengthy and lengthy come out of this because it's maxing the agility at 75. But those stats are so low, and the stats of the top players are so good. They are so quick at turning. I really worry about players coming out the other side of this, not being able to keep up with the players that we're going to get over the next few weeks through Ultimate TOTS into Shapeshifters from whatever comes from the new season pass, I just worry they're going to be left behind. And for 250k at this point in the cycle, I don't think it's good enough. I just don't think it's good enough. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on 2 different accounts because I want my Wang Gang to have another good centre back. But it's just disappointing that they're limiting stats that just don't need to be limited, in my opinion, at places that are so far behind where we are in the game right now. You know, there are some really good cards. Rio Ferdinand's card comes out of it and looks decent. You get some Van Dijk cards that are super quick. If you can't afford one of his special cards, then this is a good option for you. Yeah, I don't know. Just not right. Much simpler, much easier for people to understand. Although scoring silly amounts of goals against squad battles, it was fun. It was fun. I get it. Let's not do it every week, though, because going into a squad battles game to score 40 goals every week doesn't feel like the kind of continuous game. Try and come up with other ways of having fun within objectives.
Any tips for that, by the
way? Play with a 2-striker formation. What you'll tend to find is the way that the computer kicks off, they'll tend to always go the same direction. And they'll always run to the middle of the pitch if they don't run back at their own net, which happens sometimes, and that's infuriating. So try and run to where they're going to be rather than where they've passed the ball, because they won't change direction for a good 4 or 5 seconds dribbling. So if they pass it to the kind of player behind them and to the left, that player is probably going to dribble right across the pitch, if they've passed it up the screen, they're going to dribble down the screen. So run at them from that direction. It'll be much easier for you to win the ball back. And then low driven, because on beginner, the keepers can't save low driven shots. So that would be my way to do it. Don't panic. You actually have slightly more time than you think you do. You're much better making sure you score a goal than taking a risky shot and not scoring a goal. And also for the 35 goal objective, it's far, far easier than the 45 one. So yeah, they would be my tips. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine as an evolution. It's not. It's terrible. So yeah, I don't like it. I think it's tried to be clever, and I think it's just made cards that will be left behind fairly quickly.
Yeah, I would also say that I think one of the differentiating factors on centre-backs at the moment, because of evolutions, you could kind of pick and choose your playstyle pluses to an extent, and they probably have all the regular defensive playstyles. They're getting basically maxed out stats as well. I don't know how important that 99 physical even is if they have something like Bruiser Plus, to be honest, or even Anticipate Plus and regular Bruiser. But the thing I'd be looking out for now is having that quick step base version or the Plus. I think that is something that is setting apart the top tier of centre backs now. Having used centre backs with quick step, I wouldn't go back to ones without, really. I mean, I have one actually because I've got 𝘵𝗠𝗏 in at the moment, and it is just notable he isn't that quick. Also, Jockey Plus is just really, really good at this point, really important. So that's nice that you can add that on if you don't already have it. But yeah, I really feel like quick step is really important, and this isn't going to give you quick step. Obviously, put a player in who has quick step, fine. But yeah, that is just something to consider if you're looking at doing this. Nate, any other Evos you've taken a shine to recently, or you think have been good? I was noticing there are a few kind of interesting combos around. You got the tea and biscuits one into the Shapeshifters one is really good at the moment, and then I think there's some decent stuff out there. The Evos have been kind of strong-ish. Some of them a bit expensive, but there are some cheap ones too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 99 pace one has its place too. I had a 99 shooting player, and they can fit into that, so that's pretty fun. But yeah, just to really quick echo what Josh said about the Build Your TOTS Evo, I think we had higher expectations for that because of just the fact that it's a build your own type of Evo. But the example that they show in game is, in the menus, is 𝘬𝘂𝘂 Gold. I think if people wanted to Evo 𝘬𝘂𝘂 Gold, they probably did it months ago. So starting a new chain for him now is not necessarily, what they want to do. Also, no reactions boost in that Evo too is that's real bad. So yeah, it's fun to create your own little thing there, but I agree with Josh on that one. But then Evos, by themselves. I do like that we're getting some higher stat caps, like a lot of the 97 pace or 96 dribble. Like, that's nice. I just got to keep wondering, when's 4 PlayStyle Plus is going to come in an Evo? Sure, the first one's going to be 500K like it always is. Maybe it'll be less, but like, we've had 4 PlayStyle Pluses through 6 weeks now of Team of the Season, but we have not had an Evo yet. So, like, sure, we have through the season pass, but like a regular Evo that allows you to take a 3 PlayStyle Plus player to a 4th. I'm kind of waiting for that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, actually, should ask this question from Camp Prime. He says, I'd be interested in the panel's thoughts on Evos currently and the direction they're heading. I mean, we've kind of done thoughts on Evos currently, but this is more specific. He says, next, we get a lot more paid Evos now, and I'm worried we're heading this way for 𝗵𝘃26. Do you see this being a major issue for future cycles? We've talked about this here and there. Nate, what are your thoughts on this? I think in the past, you've basically said, it's quite nice because people often aren't sure what to spend coins on, and actually this is a route to use your coins to increase the power of your team, essentially.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good place to use your coins. I'm thinking about it this year. We have had a ton of paid Evos, and I've used a lot of my coins on those. I just keep thinking of it through EA's perspective of like, this isn't their way to monetize the game without sending you to the store. And of course, for years, a lot of people have been saying like, no money spent, RTG is the way to go. And I still think it is. It's very possible, more possible than ever to do that. But we've always wanted EA to not have the store be the main focus. And now it doesn't feel like it is. Like, it is in a sense. Obviously, it's always there. But with all these paid Evos, I mean, you can kind of tell that's where EA is trying to maximize their revenue. So if you hate EA, then you wouldn't want to buy Evos. But if you're like more okay with the Evos in the store packs, then I guess I don't have as much of an issue with it, is what I'm getting to. Sometimes it does get annoying that like, new Evos out, 50K here, 75K here, and it does add up. But if that's what your coins are going towards, and just trying out players on the market, then I don't hate it, I guess. Hopefully it's more so like we've seen at this stage of the game. Hopefully earlier on in the year when we get to 𝗵𝘃26, it's still a lot of the free ones, and then the prices are a lot lower, which they usually are. But I wouldn't want it to be a bunch of 100K, 75K, 50K Evos even the first week or two. Like, I would hope that it would, be like 15, 20K, and then mostly free Evos, because it's the beginning of the game. So,
yeah, that's a good point. I guess the way things have gone is that they have introduced more paid Evos, but at a time when, us committed players have more coins built up. So it doesn't feel quite as much of a concern spending those coins when, you do need to. Actually, it's a good point. We should tell everyone, spend your coins. Like, you never know when you're going to end up wanting to put the game down for the summer and come back to the new game. You don't want to be there sat on like millions of coins, which I'm sure some people probably are, that you haven't spent. So, do that Evo that you were contemplating, because it is a chunk of your coins, because actually, you'll use that player and the coins aren't being used, they're just sitting there. So, but yeah, Josh, it's definitely the direction they're going. I think, that will be the case in 26, but I think Nate makes a good point that things will probably have to be a little different at the start. You wouldn't expect them to be able to charge so much for Evos in terms of coin cost, but I guess they could still make it paid. I guess we'll probably have a premium season pass again, and that'll probably have some good Evos in it. So I guess there'll be ways that people can evolve players, obviously without a huge coin or 𝗵𝘃 point commitment, but it certainly feels like the new game will probably start with more of that than we saw this cycle.
I have a sneaking suspicion we won't see free Evos in the next cycle.
I don't believe it.
I think we've been heading in that direction throughout the whole of this year. I think we've been conditioned to expect it. I think they'll start off mostly cheap, but it's just the way it's the way the wind's blowing. It's how I feel like everything's moved this year, and so I'm kind of girding my loins in preparation for it because it's going to be annoying. But I really think that's the direction we're heading in. The thing I'm most interested to see is the season pass and how that links in. What price did they put it at? All of those kind of questions that I think are raised when you introduce a season pass this late into a cycle. That's going to be interesting. Can you do playstyle plus Evos in a season pass from season 1? Is that going to accelerate the power curve too quickly again? So I don't know what to expect from Evos next year. I think Evos this year are better than they were last year. Mm-hmm. I think they've caused people more frustration. And it's a weird place to be in that sense. I think because of stat limits, we've had more Evos this year that don't actually upgrade a player and just increase their rating. And you could see a player with the same stats at like 78 rated as at 85, and people want the 78 rated player. But the next Evo they go through, they're going to look the same coming out the other side of it. And so it's almost like the overall rating has stopped mattering. Like, would it... Obviously, we can't do this for SBCs, but if you remove the overall rating from players, would anything really change in game? So, I think they've been in an odd spot this year. I think there was definitely a period where the acceleration of the power curve meant that Evos had to stagnate, and so a lot of people's Evo squads stagnated. But my hot take for next year is I think they're all going to be paid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It felt odd to me that there were no free Evos at all, but I do wonder whether they could use training camp Evos to just provide a kind of free way to upgrade your kind of pool of players that you'd like to upgrade, but you're realistically not going to really want to Evo them in kind of semi-competitive or competitive matches because they aren't good enough. I don't feel like I play enough non-competitive matches during the week to actually do Evo players who are bad unless I kind of sub them on or something like that, which feels a bit annoying. So the potential to have training camp as a free way to just kind of bring your players up to a kind of certain level, or maybe add a few useful play styles and that kind of thing, would be a nice way to kind of, I don't know, keep people engaged with Evos for free. And then, if they see a paid Evo that can bring that player up to the power curve, then they'll probably do it. And it might lead to people doing more and spending more on Evos. Yeah, I guess we've probably talked enough now about Evos. Is there anything people want to kind of move on to? I don't know whether, Josh, you got anything kind of menu related you think is worth mentioning?
The weirdness around now it's being better to take an 86 rated player from a tradable player pick than like an 89 rated player. Yeah, I mean, we got the essentially campaign, party bag SBC, the 1 of 15 encore player pick, and people love them for some reason, because I don't see people get many good things out of them, but it's repeatable and requires 5 players with exactly 86 overall and then an 87 rated squad. And because it says exactly 86, this is where I think there's been an issue, because obviously now everyone needs 86 rated cards if they want to complete this SBC, which they do. And so 86 rated cards actually went extinct for a while. They fixed this exact 5 with overall of X. They fixed it, and it was just min 5 with overall of 86. Because then if you've got an 87 rated, you just stick them in there because they'll be cheaper than the 86 rated cards. And it avoids this silly situation we're in right now. And allows people to kind of just recycle their fodder into it regardless of what that fodder is. So, yeah, weird. We got the 91 plus mixed icon player pick last night, which, considering the cost of the 93 plus, they've removed quite a few of the poorer promos that were in the cheaper icon player pick. And so this is a quite attractive SBC now. It's 87 rated squad. Well, 887s, sorry. 888s, then an 88 rated squad with a team of the season or team of the week, and an 89 rated squad. So it's coming in about 200k. Obviously, you'll have lots of it untradeable. Like, decent pack return from it. Like, you should be getting, I don't know, 30k might be pushing the bar a little too far, but the jumbo gold packs will discard for 5k, and chemistry styles are selling for so much at the moment. It's not ridiculous that you'd get 10k back from one of those. And then 2, I think it's premium Electrum players packs. So, just a decent place to put fodder. I do think they've done a good job with SBCs this week, keeping them all like really quite cheap. Maybe that's preparing us for what Ultimate TOTS is going to be like. So yeah, it's been decent.
Well, to be fair, cheap but also good. I think,
that Toney was ridiculous. I was sad that he got stolen pound for pound.
Yeah, Mahrez as well. Looks like, I know I mentioned Insigne, but we haven't talked too much about players this week actually. But Ultimate TOTS doesn't bring too many new players onto the game, so maybe we'll have a chance next week as well. Next week, of course, the content episode will be a supporter episode. So if you want to check that out, do become a supporter. You'll be keeping the podcast going and getting an extra podcast every single week. And you can do that over on Patreon. Just search Support for Weekly and link in the description. Let us actually say our goodbyes. I think we're ready to wrap up at this point. So first of all, Nate, it's been nice to have you back on the podcast. If you want Nate's market thoughts, just general Ultimate Team wisdom, then you can find him on Twitch and YouTube as the Foot Accountant. Great to have you on this one.
Great to be on, Ben, as always. And we're now in summertime, so I'm waiting for these 5 PlayStyle Pluses. I'm curious to see how that pans out and shapes out.
Josh as well, thank you very much for joining us. It has been good to have you on.
Yes, it's been good to be here. Got a week off next week, the podcast. So I'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, indeed. And thank you very much, of course, to all you listeners tuning in. You can support, as I said, over on Patreon. Just search Support for Weekly, but you can also subscribe if you're listening to this on YouTube. Leave a comment. We do look at all of those and feed them into the podcast here and there. And you can also subscribe via the various podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. A big thank you to all those supporters for keeping the podcast going, including those icon patrons. Dave B, Darren W, Hugh J, Rob W, Brent P, Ralph, Josh R, Brian, Michael B, Adam R, 𝘵𝘀𝘁𝗃, Make B, Michael H, Andrew P, Arian B, Rob S, Michael K, Neil P, Jake S, Tom B, Alex M, Alan G, Lee A, Chris G, Mark M, Dom P, Rob P, Roger D, Dan W, Waterman, Also Ran, and 𝗵𝗎𝘁𝗍𝑐𝗍𝑐. Plus a special thanks to Luke M, Dave B, Hugh J, Tom M, Darren W, and Pato Foot for advice and production assistance. Before I leave you, just one more thing to add though. Ultimate Team is a bit like life really. It has its many ups and downs. If you're having a few more downs than ups in real life in these more difficult times, then please don't feel that you're alone or need to struggle on without taking action. If you go to 𝘃𝗲𝗀𝘀𝗏.net, there's loads of resources, advice, support, or even just a friendly chat for anyone who needs it. If it sounds like it could help you, then head over to 𝘃𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗏.net. And for now, have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next podcast.